The red sun of Valora 9 sank behind the broken mountains, painting the sky in blood-orange light. Wind carried the smell of metal and smoke from the junk markets. The city was loud with alien voices, buzzing, clicking, hissing, a place where everything had a price, even life. Lena sat on the cold steps outside her stepfather's shop. She was 16, human, and very different from the people around her. She was tall and wide-shouldered, with strong legs and heavy arms. Her skin was soft and pale like moonlight, and her brown hair hung down to her waist. But here, on Valora 9, none of that mattered. Here, humans were rare and often unwanted. Her stepfather, Gore, was not human. He was a scaled reptilian from the Krath species. He had taken her in when her mother died. At first, he had been kind, but as Lena grew older, he stopped looking at her like family. He looked at her like a mistake. "She is too big," Gore often said, his voice deep and cold. "Too wide to be useful. No breeder will want her. She only eats my food and brings no profit." Tonight, Gore sat inside the shop drinking a thick glowing drink called Starfire. It was expensive, and he never had enough money. The shelves behind him were empty. No one came to buy broken machine parts anymore. He stared at Lena through the window. She was sitting quietly, eyes on the sky. Her face was calm, but her eyes were heavy with something he did not care to understand. The door opened with a hiss. A stranger entered. He was tall and wrapped in a black travel cloak, his boots heavy with space dust. His face was hidden behind a silver breathing mask. He smelled of starship oil and long journeys. "Are you Gore of the Krath?" the stranger asked. "Yes," Gore said, hiding his drink. "You wish to buy something?" The stranger's eyes moved to the window where Lena sat. "I heard you keep a human." Gore smiled, sharp teeth showing. "Yes, but she is useless, too large. No one wants her." The stranger stepped closer. "I want her." Gore blinked. "She cannot breed. She is strong, yes, but she is soft and slow." "I do not care," said the stranger. He placed a small silver bottle on the counter. It glowed faint blue. One bottle of Starfire. Pure, from the core worlds. Gore's eyes widened. One bottle like that could buy him a week of food and drink. He stared at it, then at Lena. She looked back, confused, not knowing what they were saying. "She is not worth even this," Gore said, but his voice was shaking. "Then you are lucky I am generous," the stranger replied. Silence filled the shop. Outside, the wind screamed through the alleys. Gore's hands trembled. He grabbed the bottle. "Fine," he hissed. "She is yours." Lena felt her heart stop when Gore opened the door and called her inside. He did not look at her. He only said, "Go with him." She stood still. "What? Who is he?" "Not your concern," Gore said. "You do nothing here. You eat my food. You are too big, too full, too soft. Now you go." "I don't want to," Lena whispered. Gore's eyes flashed. "You are not my blood. You are not my child." The words hit harder than any slap. Lena's eyes filled with tears, but she did not cry, not in front of him. She lifted her chin and walked past him into the shop. The stranger nodded to her. He said nothing, only turned and walked out the door. She followed, silent. They walked through the dark streets to the edge of the city. There, hidden between tall iron towers, waited a black starship. Its wings folded like claws, its engines hummed like a sleeping beast. Lena stopped at the ramp. She looked back. She could see the lights of Gore's shop far away, glowing warm like a home she never truly had. Her chest ached. The air tasted of dust and metal. She turned away. Inside the ship, it was cold and silent. The stranger guided her to a small cabin. "You will rest here," he said. His voice was calm but not unkind. "Where are we going?" she asked. "Far," he answered. Why did you buy me?" The stranger paused. He looked at her for a long time. Then he said, "Because humans are not useless, not when the war begins." Lena frowned. "What war?" "You will see." He turned and walked away, the door sliding shut behind him. The cabin was dark. Lena sat on the bed, staring at her hands. They were shaking. She thought of Gore, of her mother, of the only planet she had ever known. She felt alone. But under her skin, something burned faintly. A small glow on her chest, like a star trying to wake up. She did not see it. Not yet. Outside, the black starship rose into the night, leaving Valora 9 behind, and Lena's story was just beginning. The black starship drifted through deep space like a silent ghost. No sound, no light, just cold darkness outside, and a soft hum inside. Lena woke with a start. The bed was hard and small. The air smelled of metal and old wires. For a moment she forgot where she was. Then it hit her. She was not on Valora 9 anymore. Gore had sold her. She was property now, someone's thing. She sat up, her chest still glowed faintly under her shirt. She pressed her hand over it. The light faded like it was hiding from her. The door slid open with a hiss. The stranger entered. His black cloak moved like smoke. His silver mask covered his face, but his eyes were sharp and calm. "You are awake," he said. "Where are we going?" Lena asked. "To the edge," he replied. "To the trade spire. There are buyers there." Her stomach twisted. "You're going to sell me again?" "Yes." "Why?" she whispered. "Because you are human, and humans are rare. Rare things are valuable." "I'm not valuable," she said. "Gore said I'm useless." The stranger tilted his head. "Gore is a fool. You are not useless. You are different." He turned and left, leaving her with that word echoing in her head. Hours passed, days maybe, time be. Lured in space, she saw stars through the window, endless and cold. Sometimes she felt the ship shake as it entered gates or passed near gravity wells. She stayed quiet. She ate the tasteless gray food they gave her. She watched the glowing mark on her chest grow brighter each night. It spread like tiny threads under her skin, soft and silver. She didn't tell anyone. Finally, they reached the trade spire. It was a giant station floating in the void. Black metal towers twisted together like frozen smoke. Bright lights flashed on its surface. Thousands of ships moved around it like flies around a dead beast. The stranger led Lena through long metal halls. The air was hot and thick with strange smells. Oil, blood, burning wires. Voices of many species echoed around her. Hisses, clicks, growls, hums. She saw cages on both sides of the hallway. Creatures from across the galaxy stared at her with glowing eyes. A blue-skinned guard laughed when he saw her. "A human? Those still exist?" "Barely," the stranger said. "She's big," the guard said. "Too wide, too heavy. Who would buy that?" The stranger only said, "Someone will." They walked deeper. The cages became larger. She saw living machines, floating brains, winged things with no faces. None of them looked human. None of them looked free. Lena's cage was small, cold, and smelled of rust. The door locked with a hard click. The stranger placed a tiny food pack on the floor and turned to go. "Wait," Lena said. "What is your name?" He stopped. "Names are for people. I am a traitor." Then he left. That night, Lena could not sleep. She sat in the corner, arms wrapped around her knees. She thought of her mother's voice, soft and warm. She thought of Gore's sharp words, too big, too full, too soft. Her hands curled into fists. She was not soft. She was not weak. She looked around. The cage bars were old and bent. Heavy, but maybe not unbreakable. She touched one. It burned cold into her palm. She pulled harder. It didn't move. Her heart sank. Then her chest mark pulsed. A wave of warmth rushed through her body. Her muscles tightened like steel. She grabbed the bar again. This time it shook. A sound came from the shadows. A whisper. "You are not normal." Lena spun around. Across the hall, another cage held a thin, gray-skinned creature with black eyes. "What?" she asked. "I saw the light under your skin," it said. "Long ago, humans were feared. They were soldiers. Titans. Maybe you are one of them." "I'm not," Lena said quickly. "I'm just me." "Maybe," the creature said, "but something is waking inside you." Suddenly, alarms screamed. Red lights flashed across the hall. The ground shook. "Pirates!" a guard shouted. Explosions thundered above. The walls cracked. Smoke filled the air. Sirens howled. Guards ran past, shouting, firing weapons. Cages rattled. Lena's door jolted open an inch. Her heart pounded. She grabbed the bar and pushed. The door screeched open. A pirate crashed into the hallway. Tall, armored, with a long blade. His eyes locked on her. He grinned. "Fresh human," he hissed. "High price." He raised his blade. Lena's chest mark blazed like a small sun. A shockwave exploded from her body. The pirate flew backwards, smashing into the wall. Metal bent like paper. Smoke curled from his armor. He did not move. The hall went silent. Other creatures stared at her. Some pressed back against their cage walls. Others whispered, "She's glowing." She threw him without touching. "She's a titan." Lena stood still, breathing fast. Her hands trembled. The glow faded from her chest, leaving only a soft shimmer on her skin. Far away, more explosions shook the station. Pirates roared. Guards screamed. Alarms wailed. But inside the broken hall, everything was quiet. Everyone was staring at her. And for the first time, Lena felt something she had never felt before. Power. Smoke curled from the broken ceiling of the sun. I trade spire. Red alarms flashed like angry eyes. Pirates roared in the distance, tearing through the station like wild animals. The air was thick with dust, fire, and fear. Lena stood in the center of the hall, her heart racing. The pirate who had attacked her lay broken against the wall, his armor cracked like an eggshell. She had not touched him. The glowing mark on her chest had done it. The creatures in the cages still stared at her in silence, their eyes wide with fear. And something else. Hope. She had never seen anyone look at her with hope before. Lena forced herself to move. She stepped out of her cage, her bare feet cold on the metal floor. Her body felt strange, light and heavy at the same time. Her muscles trembled like they were waking from a long sleep. Across the hall, the gray-skinned creature whispered, "You are one of them." "One of who?" she asked. "The old kind," it said. "Titan-class humans. They were the strongest soldiers in the galaxy, before they all vanished." "I'm not a soldier," Lena said. "I don't even know how to fight." "You will," the creature said simply. "It is in your blood." A deep boom shook the hallway. Dust rained from the ceiling. The lights flickered. Lena turned. The pirates were getting closer. She had two choices: wait and be captured again, or run. She ran. Her feet pounded down the steel corridor. The station shuddered under her. Lights burst overhead. Sirens wailed. She passed cages, shattered doors, dead guards. Smoke filled her lungs. Somewhere behind her, the stranger, the traitor who had bought her, was gone. Maybe dead. Maybe escaped. She didn't care. All she wanted was out. She reached a wide hangar bay. Massive steel doors were closing slowly, grinding with broken gears. Outside, the black void of space waited. A half-destroyed fighter ship sat on the floor. Its wings were cracked, but the cockpit still glowed faint green. If she could reach it— "Stop!" a voice barked. Three pirates stepped from the shadows. They were huge, armored in red metal, their faces hidden behind insect-like masks. One held a plasma whip, crackling with blue light. Another carried a heavy cannon. "Human," the first pirate hissed. "Rare, valuable." "She's not for sale," Lena said, surprising even herself. They laughed, sharp and cold. The first one rushed at her. Something inside Lena broke loose. Her chest mark exploded with silver light. Her muscles moved faster than thought. She caught the pirate's arm and slammed him into the floor. Metal cracked under his body. The other two roared and fired. Lena moved like lightning. She grabbed the broken whip from the floor and swung it, catching the cannon out of the second pirate's hands. The blast tore a hole in the wall behind her. She leapt, kicked the third one in the chest, and sent him flying through the air. Then there was silence. Smoke curled from her hands. Her breath came fast and rough. The pirates lay unmoving. She stared at her glowing skin, trembling. "What am I?" She climbed into the broken fighter and slammed the cockpit closed. The controls were strange, but her hands seemed to know what to do. The engines roared, the ship shook, then lifted. The hangar doors were almost shut. Lena pushed the throttle. The fighter screamed forward. Sparks flew as its wings scraped the closing doors, and then open space. Black stars, endless cold, silence. Lena let out a breath she didn't know she was holding. She was free, but freedom was lonely. Days passed as the fighter drifted through the void. She had no map, no food except dry ration blocks she found in the ship's locker. The only sound was the soft hum of the engine and the faint crackle of broken radio signals. At night, she dreamed. In her dreams, she saw giant humans made of light, standing on burning worlds. She saw ships shaped like swords slicing through the sky. She saw Earth, blue, round, and shining like a jay, evil before it vanished in smoke. She always woke shaking. One night she heard a voice on the ship's radio. It was weak, broken by static. "If you, human, listen, Earth is alive." Lena froze. Earth. She had only heard the word in stories. Gore used to say humans came from a dead rock that burned itself long ago. But this voice said it was alive. She played the message again, static, but the words were still there. Earth is alive. Her heart pounded. She stared at the glowing threads on her skin. Maybe the gray creature was right. Maybe she was not just different. Maybe she was made for something more. She was not born to be sold. She was not born to be silent. She was born to fight. Lena changed the ship's course. She did not know where Earth was. She did not know who sent the message. She did not know if she could survive the journey. But for the first time, she had a goal. She would find Earth. She would find her people. And if they were in danger, she would save them. The glowing mark on her chest pulsed like a heartbeat. Far behind her, the trade spire burned in space. Far ahead, somewhere in the endless dark, was the lost home of her kind. Lena was no longer a broken girl sold for a drink. She was the last war child of humanity, and she was going home. Lena's stolen fighter glided through the black sea of stars. The engines hummed softly. The cockpit smelled of burnt metal and old fuel. Days had passed since she escaped the trade spire, and she had not seen another living soul. But she was not the same girl who had been sold for a drink. She had fought pirates. She had survived fire. And now, she carried something powerful inside her, the silver glow that pulsed under her skin like a hidden star. Still, she was alone. One night, the ship's scanner beeped softly. A weak signal appeared, faint and broken, like a dying heartbeat. Lena Leah. Ned forward. It was coming from a shattered moon ahead. Pieces of gray rock floated like silent bones around it. She flew closer. A half-ruined station clung to the moon's surface. Its lights flickered. Smoke curled from holes in its walls. A distress beacon blinked weak red. Lena's chest mark pulsed. Her hands tightened on the controls. She could fly past, ignore it, stay safe. But something deep inside whispered, "Humans don't run. Humans protect." She turned the fighter and descended. The landing bay was silent. Dust floated like ghosts. Broken ships lay scattered like dead insects. She stepped out, her boots crunching on cracked metal. The air smelled of fire and blood. "Hello?" Her voice echoed through the hangar. A shadow moved. Lena spun, her body tense. A small figure crawled from behind a wrecked cargo pod. A thin alien child with blue skin and 4 trembling arms. Their eyes were wide and glowing white. "Don't hurt me," the child whispered. "I won't," Lena said gently. "Are you alone?" The child shook their head. "Others, hiding. Pirates came, took everything, killed everyone who fought." Lena felt heat rise in her chest. "Pirates again, always pirates. Take me to them," she said. The child led her through the broken station. They passed shattered walls, burned halls, and blood on the floors. Finally, they reached a storage bay. Inside, maybe 20 survivors huddled together, different species, wounded, hungry, hopeless. Their eyes rose when Lena entered. They saw her tall frame, her strange human face, and the silver glow pulsing faintly under her shirt. One old insectoid whispered, "A human. I thought they were all gone." "They are," said a scaled creature. "This must be a ghost." "I'm real," Lena said, her voice steady, "and I can help you." They stared at her in silence. "You can't fight pirates," a wounded warrior hissed. "They are many. We are nothing." "I was nothing too," Lena said, "but not anymore." That night, Lena worked. She fixed old blasters from the wreckage. She rewired Ken defense turrets. She taught the survivors how to move quietly, how to strike together. She spoke with calm fire, and they listened. Something strange happened. They started to hope. 3 days later, the pirates returned. Their black ships fell from the stars like knives. The station trembled. The survivors shook with fear. But Lena stood tall at the front gate, her silver glow shining brighter than ever. "Ready?" she asked. "Ready," they whispered. The first pirate landed on the platform. He sneered when he saw her. "Only one human? Easy." Lena smiled. Not alone. She raised her hand. The survivors burst from the shadows like a storm. Blasters roared. Turrets screamed. Pirates fell. Smoke filled the air. Lena moved through the chaos like lightning. Her chest mark blazed. Bullets curved away from her. She tore weapons from pirate hands, ripped armor apart, smashed through steel. Every hit made her stronger. Every wound closed with silver light. The survivors fought beside her, louder and braver with every moment. They were not prey anymore. They were a pack. Hours later, silence fell. The pirates were gone, dead or fleeing into space. The station stood black and broken, but alive. Survivors cheered, voices echoing in the ruined halls. Lena stood on the edge of the landing bay, looking up at the stars. She was bleeding, bruised, and smiling. For the first time, she was not alone. They gathered around her, eyes bright with new fire. "You saved us," the blue-skinned child whispered. "No," Lena said softly. "We saved us." The insectoid elder stepped forward. Where will you go now? Earth, Lena said. They frowned. Earth is a myth. Lena looked at the stars, the silver glow on her skin shining like moonlight. Then I'll make it real. That night, they gave her a ship. Old, rusted, but strong. The survivors painted her name on the side, in their own languages. Titan. They loaded food, fuel, and weapons. Some of them climbed aboard, choosing to follow her. Not as prisoners, not as cargo. As her crew, Lena sat in the captain's seat as the Titan rose from the broken moon. The survivors turned crew watched her with quiet pride. Outside, the stars stretched endless and cold. Inside, her chest glowed warm and bright. Lena was no longer someone's property, no longer a girl sold for a drink. She was Captain Lena, last child of the old human Titans, and the galaxy was starting to whisper her name. Somewhere far ahead, a faint signal waited in the dark. Human colony, under attack. Lena smiled, fire in her eyes. Set course, she said. Let's show them what humans can do. The Titan drifted through black space like a silver arrow. Stars flashed past its scarred hull. Inside, the hum of the engines mixed with quiet voices. Lena sat in the captain's seat, her eyes fixed on the blinking red signal on the screen. Human colony, under attack. The message repeated every few minutes, broken by static. No coordinates, no name, just the voice, tired, desperate, human. Her crew watched her. They had followed her from the ashes of the moon station. The blue-skinned child, the insectoid elder, the scaled warrior, and others who had nothing left except courage. They were not humans, but they had chosen to fight under a human captain, because she gave them something they had forgotten. Hope. Lena stood. Her tall frame cast a long shadow across the bridge. The silver glow under her skin pulsed like a heartbeat. Find them, she said. The crew nodded. They would follow her anywhere. It took 6 days to track the signal. 6 days of silent travel through dead space and broken starfields. Every day, Lena trained. She lifted steel plates, fought in zero gravity, practiced with old blasters until her hands bled. She barely slept. At night, she stood alone by the window, staring at the stars. She imagined Earth, blue oceans, green forests, human laughter. She had never seen it. But she missed it like a forgotten dream. The glow on her chest grew brighter each day, threading down her arms like veins of silver fire. She was becoming something more. On the 7th day, they found it. A small human colony floated in orbit around a cold, gray planet. Its white domes were cracked, smoke curled from burning towers. Giant black ships surrounded it, sleek and sharp like knives. The pirate fleet. There were dozens of them. They will kill everyone, whispered the blue child. Not if we stop them, Lena said. We are few, the insectoid elder warned. Lena's silver eyes burned. Then we fight like titans. They prepared in silence. Weapons hummed. Shields rose. The Titan's old engines screamed to life. Lena walked through the ship, touching each of her crew on the shoulder. They looked up at her like warriors before battle. Today, Lena said, we fight for more than our lives. We fight to show them what humans are. They roared in answer. The battle began like thunder. The Titan shot from the shadow of an asteroid, blasters blazing. Pirate ships spun in shock as explosions tore through their lines. Lena's crew fought with wildfire, fast, fearless, precise. Lena moved through the chaos like a storm. She leapt from ship to ship in zero gravity, tearing doors apart, throwing pirates into the void. Her silver glow turned blaster shots to mist. Bullets bent away from her. Missiles shattered against her fists. Who is she? A pirate screamed as Lena ripped the engine from his ship. She's human, someone whispered before she sent him flying into the stars. Inside the burning colony, survivors watched through shattered windows as the black pirate fleet broke apart under her attack. For years they had lived in fear, hiding from every shadow. Now they saw a human fighting like fire itself, and hope came back to their eyes, but the enemy was not finished. A giant flagship emerged from the dark, black spiked, the size of a city. Its cannon opened like a dragon's mouth, energy charged, bright and deadly. Lena floated before it, small as dust. Her crew shouted through the comms, "We have to retreat, it will kill you." "No," Lena said calmly, "it will remember me." The silver glow on her chest blazed white hot, brighter than any star. Her whole body shone like molten metal. The air trembled. She roared and flew straight at the cannon. The flagship fired. A beam of red fire split the dark. Lena hit it head on. The explosion was silent, pure light swallowing everything. When the light faded, the flagship was gone. Only drifting metal dust remained. Lena stood on the broken shell of a pirate wing, glowing like a living star. She was breathing hard but still standing. Around her, the last pirate ships scattered and fled into the void. The colony was safe. Hours later, the humans came out from their shelters. They were thin, pale, but their eyes were bright. They gathered on the cracked landing platform as the Titan landed. Lena stepped out, tall and silver-lit, her torn clothes marked with burns and blood. The crowd stared. "Are you human?" a small girl asked, voice trembling. "Yes," Lena said gently. "And so are you." The people cried out and ran to her, touching her hands, her arms, as if afraid she would vanish. The wind smelled of ash and rain, and for the first time, laughter rose through the ruins. That night, Lena stood on the roof of a half-broken dome. The stars burned bright above. Her crew stood behind her, quiet and proud. The humans had named her something new, the Titan Queen. She was not sure if she liked the title, but she knew this. She would not stop. She would rebuild their strength. She would find the lost worlds of her people. She would return to Earth, and this time, humanity would rise as one. Far across the galaxy, in the cold halls of an alien empire, the news had already reached them. A human destroyed a fleet. A human is leading armies. A human has returned, and the old fear woke again. Because when humans stand together, they do not fall, they conquer stars. Lena smiled at the dark horizon. Her war was just beginning. The colony's broken domes shone with new light. Weeks had passed since Lena destroyed the pirate fleet. In that short time, everything changed. Once silent halls now echoed with the sound of builders and children. Fires no longer burned, only torches of hope. Humans, long hidden and scattered, began to come out of the shadows. Messages spread like sparks through dark space. A human warrior saved us. She glows like a star. She fights like the old Titans. Lena stood on the colony's highest tower, watching the ships arrive. They came one by one at first, then dozens at a time. Rusted freighters, patched shuttles, broken escape pods held together by hope. Every ship carried human survivors who had believed they were alone. Now they saw they were not. Lena had changed too. Her body had grown stronger, taller, harder like living metal. Silver threads of light ran down her arms and across her back like glowing veins. When she walked, the air hummed. Her crew watched her with quiet awe. But power brought weight. She was no longer just a survivor. She was becoming something more, something her people needed. A leader. Inside the central dome, the first human council gathered. The room was wide and cracked, its ceiling half open to the stars. Lena stood at the center. Around her sat human elders, engineers, farmers, even children. Faces marked by hunger, but eyes sharp with new fire. An old woman spoke first. "You saved us. You gave us hope. But hope is not enough. The pirates will return. The empires will come. They fear humans, and they will try to crush us." A scarred young man stood. "We need ships, weapons, defenses." A quiet voice from the back added, "We need each other." Lena listened, then she spoke, her voice steady as steel. "We were broken because we were divided, hidden, afraid. That ends now." She looked around at them. Her people, lost and found again. "We will not hide anymore. We will not beg. We will not be prey." Her silver eyes burned like stars. "We will build something new, not a colony, not a fleet, a human empire." Silence filled the hall like breath held. Then someone whispered, "For Earth." And the words spread like fire. For Earth. They stood, voices rising together for the first time in centuries. The work began. The Titan became their heart, a mobile base, a symbol. Humans from across the stars joined her crew. They repaired broken ships, forged new armor, rebuilt defense towers from pirate scrap. They planted green gardens under the cracked domes. Children laughed again, running between piles of steel. Lena trained them all. She taught them how to fight, how to move like lightning, how to stand even when they were outnumbered. She taught them the one rule she lived by: humans never give up. They repeated it like a promise. But the galaxy was watching. Far away, in the golden throne halls of the Varkon Empire, a council of alien lords gathered, tall and cold, their faces like carved stone. They stared at holograms of Lena's glowing form. "A single human destroyed a fleet," one hissed. "Now they are uniting." "Humans were erased," another said. "They must stay erased." "If they rise again," whispered the oldest, "they will rise like fire." They looked at each other in silence. Then their leader spoke. "Send the hunters. Burn them before they grow." The first warning came on a quiet night. Lena stood alone on the Titan's outer deck, stars cold around her. The air was still. Her chest mark pulsed like a calm heartbeat. Then her comms crackled. A voice screamed, "Outer watch destroyed. Ships coming. Varkon hunters." Static swallowed the rest. Lena's silver glow flared. She ran to the bridge. "Everyone to battle stations," she ordered. "The Empire is coming." Her crew rushed to their posts. Alarms wailed. Engines roared to life. Human fighters rose from the colony's hangars, engines burning blue. Through the dark came black shapes, sleek, sharp, fast. The hunters. They hit like knives. The sky exploded. Fire lit the colony's towers. Human ships shattered under the first wave. The hunters moved like shadows, fast and silent. Lena stood at the center of the chaos, eyes blazing. Her body glowed bright white, brighter than before. She leapt from the Titan, tearing through space, slamming into hunter ships with her bare hands. Metal screamed and broke under her fists. Her people fought with wild courage. They did not run, they did not hide, but the hunters kept coming. On the ground, children watched from bunkers as the sky burned. One little boy whispered, "Will she win?" His mother whispered back, "She must." High above, Lena crashed through the last hunter flagship. Flames curled around her like wings. The ship broke apart behind her as she flew back to the colony, silver light streaming from her body. The hunters retreated, vanishing into the dark. The humans roared in victory. But Lena did not smile. She stood on the ruined platform, glowing in the smoke. Her eyes were cold, focused. The battle was only the beginning. If the Varkon Empire feared her enough to send hunters, they would send armies next. And when they came, they would find not scattered prey, but a human empire waiting. That night, the humans crowned her. Under broken stars and rising fires, Lena knelt as the elders placed a crown of forged steel on her brow. The people chanted her name, Lena, Lena, Titan Queen, Titan Queen. She rose, silver fire burning in her veins, once sold for a drink, now ruler of the reborn human race. And her voice carried through the night like thunder. The stars thinned, the black void slowly opened. Ned to blue. Lena stood on the bridge of the Titan, staring at the planet filling the view screen. Blue oceans wrapped around green continents. White clouds drifted, like soft ghosts. Light sparkled on the curved horizon. Earth, the lost home of humanity. No one spoke. The whole crew stood frozen, staring at the world they had only seen in broken books and half-burnt maps. Some cried quietly, some smiled like children seeing the sun for the first time. Lena's silver eyes shone. "We made it," she whispered, but then her voice hardened. "Scan the surface." A tense silence filled the air as the scanners hummed. Lines of green data rolled across the screen, and then turned red. "Not human," said the navigator in a shaking voice. "No human cities, no human signals, only Varkon." The crew stared in horror. The planet was not empty. It was occupied. The truth came fast like a blade. Varkon war banners rose from the old ruins of human cities. Massive fortress spires pierced the clouds. Oceans boiled from their drill towers. The air shimmered with the heat of alien machines. Earth was alive, but enslaved. And above it, a black wall of warships floated like vultures. A voice crackled across the comms. Cold, sharp, Varkon. "Human vessel, leave this world. It belongs to us." Lena stepped forward. "It is not yours." There was silence, then laughter, dark and slow. "Earth burned long ago. You are only ghosts. We do not fear ghosts." The signal cut. Lena's fists tightened. "They took our world," she said softly. "We take it back." The Titan rose from the dark and pointed its sharp nose at Earth. The human fleet gathered behind her, dozens of ships they had built and repaired over months of fire and hope. They were smaller, weaker, fewer than the Varkons. But every human on those ships would rather die than retreat. Lena stood before her crew, her voice cut through the fear like a blade. "This is our world," she said, "where our blood was born, where our stories began. If we fall, there will be no one left to remember." Octaros, her glowing mark flared like a white star. "We fight for Earth." The humans roared. "For Earth!" Engines screamed to life. The black of space split with blue light. The human empire charged. The Varkon wall moved. Thousands of dark ships turned as one, releasing a storm of fire. The sky burned. The Titan dove through explosions, shields sparking. Human fighters danced like sparks around her, weaving through the chaos, tearing through enemy lines. Lena leapt from the Titan into open space, wrapped in silver fire. She slammed into the first Varkan cruiser. Metal shattered under her fists. She ripped through the hull like paper, glowing brighter with every hit. Her scream echoed across comms like thunder. The humans followed her light. Everywhere Lena flew, the Varkan ships fell. But the enemy was endless. For every cruiser they broke, two more came. Earth's orbit became a burning storm. Human ships exploded around her. Static screamed in her ears. Names blinked out from the crew boards, gone forever. Then, through the fire, the Varkan flagship appeared. It was massive, black as night, covered in golden scars, bigger than a city. It moved with silent power, and from its center rose the Varkan Emperor, floating in a throne of dark energy. He was tall as a tower, his body made of black glass and burning stars. His voice rolled like thunder across the void. "You are only one girl," he said. "One spark. I will crush you." Lena floated before him, glowing like a living sun. "I am not one," she said. "I am all of them." And she charged. The battle shook the planet. Lena smashed into the Emperor with enough force to break mountains. His dark energy ripped through her, tearing her armor, cracking her bones. But she did not stop. They clashed again and again, light against shadow, silver fire against black storm. Below them, the humans fought like wild. Stars, they rammed their tiny ships into massive cruisers. They screamed their ancestors' names as they tore through Varkan fleets. The sky became a graveyard of burning metal. At last, Lena caught the Emperor's chest in both hands. Her glowing veins flared like a newborn sun. She roared with all her strength and shattered him. His black body cracked, split, and burst into dust and starlight. The Varkan fleet froze. Their leader was gone. Then they broke. One by one, the dark ships turned and fled into the deep night, disappearing like falling cinders. Silence fell. Lena drifted above Earth, smoke curling from her glowing skin. Her breath came slow, heavy. Her silver eyes dimmed. Below her, blue oceans shone. Green forests whispered. Earth waited. The surviving human ships gathered around the Titan, lights blinking like tiny suns. Voices trembled over the comms. We did it." Lena stared down at the planet, the world of her ancestors lost and found. Her voice was soft, full of awe. "Come home." Hours later, human boots touched Earth again for the first time in centuries. The wind smelled of salt and flowers. The soil was soft under their hands. Children laughed. Elders wept. Flags rose on broken ruins. Songs rose into the air. And Lena stood on a shattered stone tower, looking at her people walking the land of their birth. She had been sold for a drink. She had been caged, hunted, broken. Now she was the queen of a reborn species. The lost daughter of Earth returned, and the human empire stood on its homeworld again.